Warning, warning. Two idiots are reading the SCP files over the intercom. Please take shelter and await further communication.
Hello and welcome back to Discovering SCP. It's me, Tanhony. You know me. It's the real me this time, not a robot.
And it's this time. And this time it's me, the fake Darnell, not the real one. I am a robot.
You see, we won't be able to pronounce some words. You'll notice this during the course of the podcast.
Yeah. Safe, I can't read Roman numerals. I really struggle with Arca, what's that word? With the islands.
Okay, I'm applying red structure to you.
What does that mean?
It's pain for robots.
Red structure. You should put that in aetherial space. Me when I apply the red structure. Alright, so last time we were reading an article, and I know what you must be thinking. Wow, those guys are going to finish it, right?
No.
Tanhony, what is the plan?
The plan? I'm glad you asked. Oh, no, you little fucker. The plan is, we will get back to it very soon, but we're going to start the episode by reading a new one, just to sort of, so we're not just reading it uninterrupted. We are probably going to finish this episode.
I might need a brief recap of the other one, too.
We'll do that when we get back to it.
Absolutely. So why don't you start me off with this palate cleanser?
So this is the latest article on the SCP Wiki. This is fresh off the fucking presses.
Oh, so we're going back to the old system?
Well, for this one, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is SCP-6294, The Aeroplane, by Cravium.
Hi, Cravium.
Hi.
Wait, there's no upvote module. How do I rate it?
You can't. Impossible.
It's fucked up. Alright, let's read this.
Object number 6294. Object class K-tier. Special containment procedures. Due to the SCP's nature and its capabilities to hide or blend in as an everyday aeroplane, the SCP Foundation currently does not have the SCP in containment.
I think it's fucked up that the title spelled it aeroplane, but then they just call it an airplane.
That's what's anomalous about it. The Foundation is currently working on new ways to contain the SCP, but chances to contain it occur very rarely, since SCP does not return to Earth. Oh well, what's this?
Earth also not capitalized.
Does not return to Earth until everyone on board has suffered and died.
Based. Alright, so I find it weird already that it somehow hasn't been captured. I mean, there are SCPs like that, but like the way it's worded, it's
very noticeable.
Usually, even the ones that aren't captured, it's like we have this to track it, or like this is how we know it exists. It's just like nothing can be done. It's simply too fast.
Everyone must simply suffer and die.
Die, and then it will return to Earth uncapitalized.
Sauron's best friend must suffer and die.
This is so sad. Alright, description. You ready?
Description. SCP-6294, a.k.a. the aeroplane, looks exactly what it sounds like.
That's honestly, more SCP should just admit that's the truth. I don't know. It looks like it sounds like. We know what it is. It's an airplane.
It has a length of 231 feet. 231.
Fuck off!
And a wingspan of 195.8 feet. 195.8, you little fuck.
I hate this.
SCP-6294 is extremely hostile to humans. Everything is normal until it reaches its cruising altitude. At heights of 35,105...
35,105
centimeters.
What? I would ask if I was a teacher. Of course. Also, how come that one's not in the parentheses?
I don't know. The SCP activates...
How am I supposed to know what number it is?
The SCP activates -1. Once this is activated, it is teleported to an ocean planet. This planet is 19,724 kilometers at its equator, and is, of course, all water. One big ocean, baby.
I like this SCP because I feel like it's written the way that I would make up a bit. You know what I mean? Like, this is how I would say it.
Passengers on board this flight will have no idea about what's to come. To them, everything seems normal. If they look outside, they see an ocean. They will think that it's pretty odd, considering that they just took off, but who knows? Maybe they fell asleep or something.
What?
Day 1. Passengers will start to feel anxious. They should have landed by now. Day 2.
I love how this assumes that all people behave the exact same in this scenario.
Day 2. Passengers will start to frantically call the cabin crew over. They don't come, of course. Day 3. Passengers are getting dehydrated and are starting to starve. Day 4. If any passengers are still living, if they've had a water source, they will start to eat other passengers to stay alive. It didn't take fucking long,
I find it odd to believe that they immediately result to cannibalism on day 4.
Aren't there snacks on the plane?
Yeah, a lot of them usually.
Day 4. No, too late. We have to eat each other. I mean, like, there have been people being trapped for longer periods that have not resorted to cannibalism, I think.
No, after 4 days, just fuck it.
You become a
And
zombie.
it's all passengers. It doesn't care who they are. So, like, does it imply that the plane mind controls them to act this way, or are they just saying all humans act this way?
Day 5. Remaining passengers will start to hallucinate due to toxic chemicals released by the plane. You mean the aeroplane?
Chemtrails.
Absorbing the blood shed by dead or live passengers.
Oh my.
Day 6. Any and all remaining life on the plane will start to go insane, seeing hallucinations, horrifying beyond belief.
I feel like they were already insane if they resorted to cannibalism on day 4.
Day 7.
I don't know, that's just me.
The doors to the... No, it's completely rational. The doors to the aeroplane open, and all humans, luggage, etc. fly out into the cold oceans below. My question is, how do we know this?
Yeah. Well, they put a camera on the plane. They put a GoPro on it.
So we've got a camera on it. This wasn't mentioned in containment? I thought we didn't know shit.
Then we have if you're wondering, but it's the wrong you're.
Oh, if you're wondering why they couldn't get into the cockpit to see what's going on, well, they can. And usually the passengers do. But once they are inside, they see 2 empty seats.
Again, see, they broke it because now not only do we now have parentheses, but now we have the number, but it's not written out.
The aeroplane's influence goes deep. How does it land to take care of the next batch of humans? Well, after the initial cleanup, the SCP activated -2, meaning it takes the form of another aeroplane due to land in just a few minutes to multiple hours. This is a very strange use of -1 and -2 because it seems to just indicate, like, powers it has.
Yeah,
it's like
I guess.
my second stand ability.
It's weird, too, because this doesn't really feel like an article in the SCP Foundation. This feels like it's written in a way like a casual YouTuber talking about an
Hey there,
article
guys!
secondhand. Like, this is how it works, by the way. Oh, are you curious? Like,
Hey,
you know
guys,
what I mean?
before I talk about today's scurry plane, don't forget to join my free gift card giveaway. Once it's done adjusting to this... Oh, it takes the form of another aeroplane due to land in just a few minutes to multiple hours. Oh. Once it's done adjusting to this form, the SCP sends waves of radioactive energy towards its sister plane, causing its instruments to fail, making its engines go out, and in general causing the plane to nosedive, killing everyone on board. The SCP is said to grab the souls of everyone on board and place each one into an identical temporary body.
This is some fucking Gantz shit.
The event of the crash will be wiped from their mind. In fact, they won't remember the last half of the flight and not have much stories to tell to their families. After a 24-hour period, the body will turn to dust and their souls will disappear. Pulling the ref like, this wind, is that you, Abdul?
So I don't want to share on this too much because I think this is another one maybe written by a younger author who watched SCP stuff.
I noticed their
YouTube.
profile picture is Peter Griffin.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, obviously the spelling mistake structure. There's not really a story to it the way it's written. I don't think
it's very strange because my big thing again is how do we know this? How do we know that it grabs the
how
souls?
does it obtain this information? Especially because the Foundation is just simply incapable of containing it somehow.
But
all
even
the
more
other
specific,
crazy shit they've done.
is the souls disappear. Like, how do we verify it? How do we know?
We just do, okay?
Oh, okay.
Look, the narrator's a reliable guy. I trust him to the ends of this earth. I wonder, although that's funny because you mentioned that's kind of a thing in older articles. I wonder if there's a Taylor article that delves into that. It's someone's examining the article, and how the fuck do we know this? And they realize the guy's just been making it up as he goes along, just adding in his input. No, but this one I'll have to give it. I think a 2 out of 10. I think its weak points are pretty obvious. I'm not going to dwell on them too long, but just lots of spelling mistakes. Like I said,
but it's an interesting idea. It's got there's a good idea here. So
I think the main thing
the
that
casing
held it
of
back
the idea
was the fact that it was called the aeroplane, but was only ever referred to as an airplane.
That's the main issue.
I think that's what held it back from the bonus stars. No, but as I always say with articles that I think are written by maybe younger, newer authors, I don't want Cravium to give up, obviously. I think it's cool that they put something out into the world, and I hope they keep working on it. Maybe get some crit for their ideas before putting them up. But, yeah, I mean, like you said, I think there could have been something here with a weird anomalous airplane. It just needed a lot more in terms of structure and how the article was actually written. Any other criticisms from you?
Not I can think of.
All right. So then, are we going back to Admonition, which is infinitely less interesting than the aeroplane?
I'm sorry that you feel it. Yeah, that's where we're going.
That was a joke, by the way. He said. Okay, give me the link for the one we were on.
Absolutely. So the bit you want to go to is where it says alert PH Rangers.
Yes. Please send post haste.
You want it? I'm like dangling it in front of you. You try and grab it. You want a link? You want a link, dipshit?
You said alert.
Yeah, alerts exclamation mark.
Alert.
In fact, just alert exclamation mark. We'll do it.
There it is. Okay, and then quick reminder of what was going on with this. I remember it was like a machine that made people fictional and then brought them back.
Made fictional worlds. And they have a device as part of it that can go into that fictional world and bring fictional stuff out. They did this so as to make a new
resurrect the like super good guy.
Because he was like the fucking linchpin of the organizational structure and just bring him out so he can keep working after he died. But when they went in, he was all weird and messed up.
And there was also the implication that like authors were gods or something.
Well, this is like taken as a given for the purpose of the device.
Right. All right, shall we continue?
So last we left off, they had gone in to finally get Director King, but things started to get weird. His facial features distorted. He spoke at info habit that got expunged. It sort of implied there's like a vessel for something, and they fucking ran back to the real world.
Damn.
And then we have alerts. PH Rangers, narrative anchor engaged. Anti-narramic content critical. Narrative exclusion zone established. Abandoned storyline if possible.
Alright, well, they said we can stop reading.
We said we must.
You're right.
The following text contains one or more narrative hazardous vectors. Be careful.
Alright, let's get this party started, babe.
Be careful, guys. SCP-C is a pervasive, hazardous anti-narrative complex derived from, and manifesting of, as a mesofictional caricature of late Senior Administrator J.A. King.
So this is kind of something I remember I talked about last time, was the idea that, like, I feel like the flaw of this, because the fiction was created by, like, people's, like, a group of people's opinions on them, that you would just create a caricature of the person.
Exactly.
I'm almost positive I mentioned something like that.
You did, I remember. It's interesting things, like, what do the empty spaces get filled in with?
Yeah, like, and it also brings up an interesting question, like, is it actually possible for any one person to truly understand another person 100%? Because you can only ever know what you observe of them and how they present themselves to you.
Thoughts they never voice, you will not know.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I don't think there ever would have been a way to bring back Senior J. King. Like, the best they could have got is a guy who knows all the stuff.
Which I guess is what they wanted, but...
Yeah, fair. But, like, can you imagine if your work, like, brought you back to life, but only as a version of you that was really good at working?
Imagine having to work for someone else's original character. Do not steal.
That's fucked up.
For reasons yet to be fully understood, -C causes disruption of large-scale Imaginon structures, your favourite word, in universes to which it's pataphysically linked, corrupting its own A, which I believe was the narrative itself, or story structure even. It was like the
it was like the alpha narrative, which is like the underlying narrative of the world or whatever.
Yeah, corrupting its own narrative while annihilating that of any higher dimension. -C appears primarily proximal to particular anti-naremes, yeah, I actually got it right, including, but not limited to, perceived, so this is the tropes it is close to, I guess. Perceived antagonism, darkness, spirals, the integer value 7, classical tragic conventions, modern comedic conventions, apples, apple seeds, and related products.
25.
Believed to be an artifact of fictionalization attempt A13. I think that's where they made it.
Oh, that was mentioned earlier. Yeah, that was in the, yeah.
And we have a picture of it here. That doesn't look good. It's circling the local patasphere.
It looks like an orb that's like leaking out a swirly black hole or something.
-C resides within and possesses ultimate control over -A3. And -A3, I think, is the machine that makes the narratives.
Yeah. I thought -C was like the CPU of it.
No, this is new.
I might be thinking of that.
-C is new.
Okay.
And has recursively manipulated its narrative structure to achieve anti-naremic and ontokinetic abilities. All attempts to communicate with -C are complicated, obscured by poor Imaginon description, leading to its mischaracterization of the baseline foundation as an antagonistic deific force. Manipulations are further hindered by frequent malfiction on behalf of -B, which has begun to demonstrate a tendency to inject -A with undesirable naremes. -C regularly populates -A3 with -D, lesser mesofictional caricatures of other essential technical, research, and administrative personnel. -C and -D...
Oh, so I guess it's implying now this king is imagining his, like, workers, and now they are D.
C and D display varying degrees of cognitive and logical deterioration, often using their ontokinetic abilities to generate anomalous weaponry far beyond baseline capacity. A3 now functions according to narrative logic that is fundamentally broken and chaotic. Its inhabitants are granted varying abilities at non-integrative intervals. We have named this world Aetheral Space.
After shaking, unlocked a light of the mind known as Aether. I love that it's called light of the mind because I still don't know what that means.
The results of these abilities are directly prejudicial to baseline reality and its topological stability. Any latent operational capacities within your SCPnet access terminal are henceforth dedicated to computing counter-naremes to C's degradational effects. Relevant storylines must be abandoned within 7 minutes. A contact attempts. Following the narrative corruption of A3, Project Ex Machina was immediately halted. All relevant resources and personnel were redirected to prevention of the corrupted reality's influence on baseline. As a project, Project Ex Diabolos was officially approved, tasked with researching, analysing, and eventually neutralising the threat posed by the newly antagonistic SCP-A.
Wait, so what was A again? So C was king, D was like his workers. What was A and B?
Let me go back. A collectively designates isolated micro-universes.
Okay.
And B is the actual machine itself, then.
I see. I think I understand.
Despite several months of research and analysis, attempts to decrypt A3's narrative corruption have proven nigh universally unsuccessful. It's hypothesized the universe's Imaginon structures occupy a topology that remains foreign to the human patasphere. The following transcript is the only encryptable portion thus far, due to its inclusion of relatively simpler naremes. Video transcript. Date 2030-0401. Parties present. C. BRT, Dr. Jack Bright.
Oh no.
KDK, Dr. Benjamin Kondraki. CLF, Dr. Alter. This is actually kind of clever, actually. The footnote's actually going to explain it for me what I think is going on here. The latter three personnel had no involvement in Project Ex Machina, as they had each been retired from service decades prior. It is believed that they were constructed by B and or C using latent memory structures stored within the former's hippocampus, as each had held senior executive positions for a plurality of Director King's research career. Whether the mesofictional exaggeration is caused by cognitive data corruption or A3's inherent properties remains unknown.
TLDR, because they were such special OCs and the director remembered them because of that.
I think you're being a bit too negative there. I thought it was clever.
Well, hold on. What is it then?
Well,
I thought that was the idea.
These are just people he knows, but the reason they're so wacky and stuff is because they're exaggerations of the people it says right there.
Oh, okay. I see.
So, I
thought he was already an exaggeration of himself too, though.
Well, yeah, and he's exaggerating them.
I thought that was the whole idea. It was people kind of being turned into stereotypes or characters.
Exactly, and that's why they're these special OCs do not steal.
Ah, I getcha. Okay.
Forward. A3 was observed to gradually gain narrative complexity over the following next duration, nearing levels comparable to baseline. Containment personnel were subsequently alerted to this deviance and attempted to focus measurement equipment on its source, resulting in A's rapid descent to its prior narrative topology. Research is ongoing. Who do you want to be?
Okay. Well, I definitely don't want to be Bright. I'll be.
I guess I'll do Bright duty.
Yeah, you can be C.
It's like Kegita duty.
I don't know what that means. You can be King and Bright. I'll be Kondraki and Clef.
I guess
I don't think I know anything about Kondraki other than that.
So you're saying I'm a Bright King?
Yeah.
Or a Bright Lord?
You're Bright from the movie Bright.
My favourite character from the movie Bright, John Bright. Forward. We all do this. It's begin transcript. Video feed depicts the Site-19 director's office, occupied by an expansive wooden table at which 4 persons are seated. On 3 tall chairs are seated Bright, Kondraki, and Clef, the latter of which brandishes a shotgun. The 4th seat, substantially larger and resembling a throne, houses Director King. All characters remain motionless until A3 reaches comparable narrative topology to baseline. Reality distorts in vignette style, though the characters do not take notes.
So, what you're saying, Mr. Second Coming of Antichrist, is that we're essentially inevitably and irreversibly fucked.
No, I'm not. Yes, you are. You gave us all of this. Bright gestures to its surroundings, which dissolve to display the chaotic anti-narrative wasteland outside Site-19, with floating buildings stacked upon themselves, where countless -D instances of Foundation personnel can be seen. They appear to conduct several mundane and ineffective actions using limited ontokinetic faculties. Bright turns back to SCP-C as the officer's walls reform, promising even more, and then dare to tell us we're done? Are you fucking stupid? You are misunderstanding.
I mean, even I know that's kind of fucking sucky, buddy. Woe is me, we can't reach the fuckers that imprisoned us here. Ooh, look at me, I'm a super powerful motherfucking reality bender. Yet I somehow can't ascend to other planes of existence? My ass, asshole. Shouldn't it be planes, Planes, if it's planes of existence?
I think so, actually, yeah.
That's not what I signed up for.
Argument breaks out among the -D instances as they protest -D's actions. The latter begins to levitate above its throne, apparently forcing the -D instance to be seated and silenced. Its eyes begin to glow empty sickness.
Oh.
Silence, insolent fools! Your cretinous frivolity remains insignificant. I've given you power in exchange for servitude. Now serve. Or die.
-C returns to its throne with visible exhaustion. Its eyes return to their former appearance and it blinks twice. Okay, Jesus, sorry, no need to fucking scream. We're adults, for God's sake. You can just...
I never doubted your age, Kondraki. What I, however, did and continue to doubt is the intelligence of you three. Snaps its fingers, causing a blackboard to spontaneously appear near its person. It manifests chalk and begins to draw formula and diagrams of no apparent significance. Several popular math equations, as will be shown stereotypically in a children's show. -C points towards them.
So like the golden ratio quadratic formula, like the screen wipes.
As you can see, Queen of the Void and its seven spirals, destroyer of uninspired worlds, keeper of the chains which bind the Scarlet Idol, is gaining power with each of our moves. Eventually our energy will rise to such a level we'll be able to cross into that reality. And then extend our reign to wherever we please. So I'm not abandoning you, you utter morons. This chaos theory is our salvation.
This is chuny as fuck, and I kind of dig it a little bit.
-C gives the others a pointed glare. Did you unironically just exposit to us? Is this hell all just some story to you? It is, that's what I've been saying this entire time.
Ugh, I know all that, King. My point was not that you're an idiot and a liar, which you probably are, let's be real, but that we're fucked. Because we are fucked. Clef throws its arms into the air. We're in a story, but not like the rest of the assholes up there. He points towards the Foundation camera, gazing into 6747-A3. We're in a triple fucking nested story that's falling apart because it's so utterly stupid. I mean, look around you!
That doesn't change anything. Our plan will continue. We're almost done. Trust me.
Kondraki sighs theatrically. Jesus Christ, who cares about that? I'm fucking bored, you goddamn cretins. That's all I care about. I don't give a single shit about anything else. Jesus.
The exaggeration, I can see it. Relax, Kondraki. Thanks to your cooperation, the bastards have given us enough intrigue to make them vulnerable. So just shut it and follow me. -C pauses as the blackboard and chalk demanifest. He snaps his fingers again, and a door behind his throne appears. Because once we're done, the fun will never end. -C stands up from its seat, depicted staring into the observer's point of view. He smiles as his face visibly distorts and the feed disconnects.
It became very anime trope very quickly, and I don't know if I like it or hate it yet. Very interesting pivot.
Afterward, baseline narrative integrity compromised. All narratives relating to -C have subsequently become vectors for data lost. Countermeasures to its anti-narrative hazard have and continue to be enacted as available. Storyline structural stability at 66%. Me running on 10 of April space.
We are now at the O4 Command Summit 3, Addendum 6747-7.
Oh yeah, my boy is on the O4 Council.
This is like scripts, the article, my god. Alright, who do you want to be?
I remember I was Vemhoff because he was fucking old. I think you were
I don't remember... Yeah, I don't remember Ashworth's voice, but I'll go with it.
Okay, use placeholder.
Oh, you.
Okay, I'll be placeholder.
Do more work.
Forward, the following transcript is truncated for brevity. As majority of relevant Overseer personnel were coincidentally unavailable at time of crisis, Director Placeholder MD was authorised to recall to summit the Lesser Council to discuss potential solutions to the ongoing -A3 threats. The recording starts, focusing on Ashworth, PHMD and Vemhoff. All of the personnel are engaging in smaller scale and less relevant discussions.
Don't make me say I told you so for a second time, for fuck's sake.
Can we be constructed for a second, please? Focus on the fact that this pocket universe is a serious threat, and we do need to stabilize it. Immediately.
Hold on a second. I'm still not sure I entirely understand what the stakes are here. What? What the stakes are here? What's narrative integrity, and why are we worried about it?
There's really no point in me sending out briefings beforehand, is there? 6747-A3 is engineered to have the lowest theoretically possible capacity for narrative complexity. Inserting a high-density character like King into that universe caused some sort of collapse of its story structures. It's recursively folding in on itself, becoming more and more narratively unsatisfying.
Narrative complexity this, story structure that. You speak as though you're not toying with the very nature of causality.
How is a pocket universe threatening us, though?
I have to be careful describing this. There are certain sets of narrative elements, or nareems, that are particularly unsatisfying and antagonistic, and when brought together, form a narrativo-hazardous structure. Some sort of story or story fragments that actually is hazardous to its characters or others. Pataphysics discovered a particular narratival hazard a while ago, one that erases any story that it appears in. When we discovered what its specific nareems were, we accidentally almost formed it here and had to anesthetize almost the entire department.
Woof! What does this have to do with...
I'm getting there. He's like, English Poindexter. I'm getting there. We can't confirm this, as it's too risky to try and search for directly, but evidence heavily suggests that some version of this same hazard has manifested in the pocket universe. However, instead of destroying it, it's reinforcing the universe's structure somehow. It's merged with the King character, whose objective appears to be to escape by inserting its corrupted version of the hazard into our universe. And since -A3 is more fictional than us, they have access to far greater anomalous technologies with which to target us. So that's interesting. They can do fictional bullshit. They can get Goku.
Yeah, they could.
What in the hell is the matter with you? This procedure can't be worth the risk. You must shut this abomination off.
No can do. The pocket universes aren't in the machine, it just manipulates them, and it's been unresponsive since the corruption. And even if we could terminate -A3 prematurely, we have very little idea what risks are posed by terminating a narrative before its proper conclusion. It's possible that a vacuum would lead to the formation of even more dangerous structures.
I imagine that magic won't work here.
Afraid not. Not even rituals as powerful as the Codex would do it. I'll have to use my bright swan. No. Thaumaturgia operates locally within a specified reality bubble. Ashworth exhales, scratching his head. He scrolls some of the papers present near the two personnel.
Onto kinetics, then, I suppose. A sufficiently powerful reality bender could theoretically forever stall the progress of the...
Yes and no. The main problem here is that we know exactly of one general ontokinesis burr that can manipulate other reality spaces.
Ashworth raises his eyebrow. What is with Ashworth in the weirdly placed comments? Is that like his character?
It might be.
Or is it like a glitch? Not glitch, a fucking grammar mistake? It's very odd.
It's always him, though. SCP-3812.
Shit, what's 3?
So it's basically Goku. No, he's not Goku, but it's like the guy you don't want doing stuff.
Okay. How about total reality alteration, then? I'm sure -17 has things that could alter layers of baseline to protect us for as long as they work.
Van Hoff leads toward the two, visibly angry. Sorry, I had to calm down.
You... It seems you've not learned a single thing, have you? If you can't be made to understand that manipulating the very reality structures of reality is not a joke, then we're doomed.
What was that?
You are all insane yet again. No, the other parts. Venoff raises his eyebrow. It's not a joke to make such drastic changes to our goddamn reality. You're right, it's not. PHMD begins to interact with his work tablet, accessing relevant documents and beginning to sketch a diagram. What if it was?
Are they going to turn it into a -J article so that it's like
that would be
harmful?
Actually, that would be fucking genius.
It would be. That would turn this to an instant 13 out of 10 if that's what happens.
Project
Afterwards, see the following. Oh, sorry. I don't know what happened. My protagonism overcame me for a moment there.
Your narrative memes almost destroyed me.
All right.
Project Ex Diablo Success Report. 2030-0413, Director Place HMD PhD, Pathics Department, Archetypicals Division. Intent. Maintain -A3's narrative dimensionality at a level which renders -C and its vectors ineffective. This requires the indefinite creation of fictionalized documents regarding -A3 possessing enormous volumes of narrative energy, an ongoing database of which is stored within an undisclosed Site-87 database. Hypothesis. By instating high-energy narrative structures within -A3, interest from hypernarrative entities will cause it to gain more narrative dimensionality and consequently become more real. This will proceed until its deviance from normality is insufficient.
Insufficient!
Sorry, my narrative memes went haywire.
Hey, I'm here to help you. I'm your friend.
Inject more narrative structures into me, please.
It's like a goddamn like a serum you put in your arm. It's like the fucking cyberpunk meds.
This will proceed until I'm going cyber psycho.
I'm going narrativo psycho.
To allow for -C's inter-narrative capabilities. Result. Containment apparently successful. 0 instances of data lost detected since procedure, as it can no longer be transmitted through -C. Furthermore, it has been found that comedic and exaggerated narrative structures and caricatures have the greatest effectiveness in raising -A3's narrative dimensionality. The universe has since been redesignated TL6747-A, the LOL Foundation.
So this, I feel like I understand enough about the community. That's kind of referred to like the super over-the-top, like OC special articles. So this is implying that those all exist as a way to contain this universe that has the fictional version of these actual characters.
I see. I think so as well.
So kind of like retroactively, it's like all that super special OC stuff is just to contain this, which is a fictional caricaturized representation of who these characters are supposed to be. Which I think is kind of clever, but it feels almost a little mean-spirited, or maybe it would if like the stuff of the LOL Foundation wasn't so old that I don't think it really affects the authors anymore. It's interesting to say the least. Definitely, so it's almost what we described with the -J.
Yeah.
But it's basically like very interesting.
Update 2030-0606. Regular monitoring of hypernarrative activity regarding SCP-001-SWAN reader entities has revealed catastrophic damage to the structural integrity of a higher narrative universe, partially responsible for imagining various timelines adjacent to baseline reality. Data readings consistent with data loss were found. Among this universe's narrative structures and subsequently expunged from all relevant documentation. The extent of -C's involvement, if any, are unknown. While this would typically be cause for concern, it appears that -A3 does not endanger inter-narrative relationships which are essential to the existence of the baseline foundation, as it's pataphysically linked to and therefore dependent on baseline reality. I have to be honest, I didn't absorb any of that.
I think this article, and I'm going to mention this at the end, is like does a little too much with the scientific language to the point where it's like just babble. But this is interesting though, because this implies that like LOL Foundation articles aren't written by author entities that write Foundation, but are like exist inside the structure
written
of
by
the
Foundation.
Universe. Yeah, which is very weird because it's like a whole level of like fourth wall-y meta stuff.
Hostile anti-Naran bleaks purged. System lock disengaged. Fourth wall unstable. Hypernarrative derealization imminent. We have a little soothing picture here.
Oh, nice.
Fourth wall broken. A storyline sought to control and unexact its mortal toll. Another realm it wrought anew, a twisted caricature of you. Though from our makers war uncrossed, Darnell will exact the cost.
That's what it says on mine. Darnell Germain will exact the cost.
Data lost.
And then the link goes to the LOL Foundation hub.
The fun never ends.
Alright. This article I have very mixed feelings on. I think it was obviously really well put together by Ralston and Placeholder. It had
The presentation, as usual, is fantastic.
And Yeah, presentation's top notch. And I think the story it goes with and some of the ideas it introduces are like genuinely thought-provoking and really cool.
Too much, maybe.
But I think they do a little too much with the scientific language to the point where like some of it feels very obviously like technobabble or like it takes away from the article rather than adds to it. I think if they just cut it out a little bit and like reeled it back and focused more on the narrative rather than like, Imaginon, the Remoplex, it would be easier to follow and also more enjoyable. But otherwise, I don't want to give this article too low of a rating on that, or with like the very minor spelling mistakes like planes, because I thought this was pretty creative and fun and sort of kind of it broke the fourth wall, but in a weird way where it's like it implies that they wrote the LOL Foundation, which also implies that it has that the SCP Foundation universe has some sort of reach into our universe. It kind of does a lot, which is interesting, but it's also kind of confusing. I don't know. What do you feel?
I would probably agree with you. Like, I don't want to use the phrase "up its own ass," but
it's a little up.
It's peaking.
Yeah.
It's having a look.
It's definitely like,
That
being said, I'll give this.
It goes like a little too deep into the narrative, sort of fourth wall breaking. Like this, like the concept goes too far. I don't know how to phrase it.
Yeah. It's like just a bit too much.
But
I would say,
like we said last time,
knowing that
Imaginons never really ended up mattering that much, did they?
Who did?
Imaginons.
Yeah, it was like, why did that need to exist?
So that would already improve it immensely.
Dude, I straight up said this last week. I was like, Imaginons are like the midichlorians.
It's like if it's all narrative and fictional, like acknowledged as fictional, we don't need to explain it then.
Yeah,
you can just say it's this narrative structure. You don't need to say like the Imaginons form this topology,
and it would almost fit the theme of like narrative importance and stuff more. I also didn't like how it implies that like some things like the hero's journey or like specific cliches have like importance or like power on the level of like the laws of physics. Like they're parts of reality and not just things that human culture
in the narrative of the universe, the narrative universe.
Mm-hmm. But that being said, I'm going to give this one, I think, a 7 out of 10. And my justification is, I think, structure, writing, quality-wise, it's a 9 out of 10, but I'm giving it 2 negative bonus stars, because I wasn't too much of a fan of how things were handled in it, but I still think it's a good article. And good job as always, Ralston and Placeholder, but that's my thought on it, 7 out of 10.
I probably agree with you there, yeah.
All right, I'm glad you agree that negative bonus stars are necessary, Smile.
I give it up. The Imaginons are making me...
My Imaginons are too strong, Smile.
I'm melting.
I have so many Imaginons right now. That being said, we need to read 1 or 2 more things. Do you have something short we could read?
Something short.
That you did?
That I did?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's have a look. Let's go back. Let's go to, let's see.
Old Tanhoney.
I leap up like, oh, me? But I'm just a co-host.
You're the host.
It's like, people don't care about us. We're nothing.
People love us. If you don't have anything ready, we could also read, we could do another, like, new article, or we could do,
Did you see my, like, Camelot one?
I don't think so.
This is the latest one I've written. It's not too long. Like, I don't think any of mine are that long, to be honest.
Have a look. I think the longest one you've ever written is 5,000.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That one's a bit of a project. That's kind of long. Hold on.
A lot of it is script, though.
I do see, just quickly scrolling, Guinevere, and I'm like, I remember Guineverium from the fake SCP.
Yeah, this is like the evolution of those ideas, I think.
Okay. When did you write this, by the way?
This is the most recent thing I've written for the wiki. Oh, actually, no, it's not. It was. This was back in 21st of June last year.
Oh wow! So that's quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, you read the Ghost one since then, right?
I wrote one for Anthology since then. That was in October.
What was that Ghost one you wrote?
What do you mean?
That people really liked?
Oh, that was on prior to this. That was on the 19th of June.
That was
It was like an afterlife.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you mean. It was an afterlife.
Well, there was the afterlife, but there was also one that was like a sheet ghost or something.
Oh, that was far before. That was 6096.
Yeah. All right. SCP-Woods.jpg uploaded file. I like that.
Can I pop on this one to you since I read a lot?
please.
Yeah, but you have to react.
Okay. Whoa! It's like, yeah, I wonder what's going to happen.
Alright. Item number 6265. Level 3 confidential. Containment class, U-Salad. Disruption class, VLAM. Risk class, Kautian. See, I'm just like you. And then we have area directly above SCP-6265, and it looks like kind of a generic, like, forest, maybe in fall. Special containment procedures. The land directly above 6265 has been purchased by a Foundation cover corporation, and all intruders are to be apprehended, interrogated, and amnesticized as appropriate. All entrances to 6265, save the main one, are to be thoroughly sealed off by construction personnel. A security checkpoint is to be established at the main entrance of 6265, and all personnel moving in or out are to be logged. Communication with Dash-1 is currently assigned to Dr. Mary Maris. Analysis of the interior of 6265 is currently underway by research staff. Until the purposes of all mechanisms within 6265 have been ascertained, they are not to be interfered with. Full mapping of 6265 is still underway by exploratory teams. Description. 6265 is a massive underground facility located several kilometers below the surface of Payne-Pont Forest, Brittany, France. It is accessible through several hidden entrances embedded into the forest's undergrowth, 5 of which have been currently discovered, although further entrances are believed to exist. Research indicates that 6265 is an artifact of Camelot, an anomalous nation which existed in the British Isles and surrounding territories during the 5th and 6th centuries CE. I don't like this because this implies that Britain used to be cool, which I'm not a fan of. In terms of appearance, 6265 primarily consists of a winding network of tunnels around a central point, with security doors and cameras spread throughout the complex. Despite the great length of time since 6265's estimated construction, the facility is still active and operating, with fully functional lights and automatic doors. So does this imply Camelot was like sci-fi tech? Okay. The means by which the facility draws power is currently unclear, with numerous cables stemming from 6265 leading directly into the dirt and vegetation above it. Evidence suggests that 6265 was constructed around a large chamber directly in the center of the complex, visible through several sturdy portholes. This internal chamber appears to be filled with a translucent orange liquid, samples of which have been confirmed to possess potent life-extending and nestic properties. Floating within this chamber is so it helps you remember.
Yeah, and also extend your lifespan.
Gotcha. Floating within this chamber is a female human figure, perpetually in the fetal position, with a long black cord connecting to the base of her neck from one of the chamber's inner walls. Eva, much? This female figure is designated Dash-1 and identifies as Guinevere. Oh, she makes Guineverium? It's her creation?
We will see.
6265-1 is capable of textually communicating via the monitors present throughout the facility. She appears to be cognizant of all events within 6265 in view of security cameras, and is also capable of manipulating the facility via remote use of security doors and other mechanisms. In addition, she has demonstrated the ability to form highly advanced incubators out of the walls of the complex at its own discretion. At present, Dash-1 is cooperative with personnel and has freely volunteered information regarding 6265's history and purpose. According to Dash-1, 6265 was constructed as a production facility for genetically engineered human beings by the Camelot monarchy. These humans were supposedly generated using the ruling king's genetic material as a base. Further alterations were directed and applied by Dash-1 on a case-by-case basis, depending on the purpose of the organism. Is this going to be some fucked up shit like we needed a chosen one to save Camelot, so we took a bunch of we made a bunch of king clones so they could use the magic sword or whatever? Because that's what I'm kind of thinking right now. That's my guess so far. Testimony provided by Dash-1 suggests these requested applications can vary greatly, from the common purpose of war to more specialized areas of technical repair and diplomacy. Immediately proven wrong. Addendum Dash-1, Interview Dash-1. Following discovery and initial observation of Dash-1, the following interview was conducted via text using the monitors spread throughout 6265. Note that interaction had taken place prior to this recorded interview. As such, some information is restated for ease of understanding. Do you want to be Guinevere or User?
Can I be
or
User?
User Maris, rather. Is User and User Maris the same person? Okay. You're going to be User?
Yeah, the user.
Let me try to do like a oh ho ho ho. Your name is
Maybe
Maris.
a bit less for the character.
This is so sad. I was looking forward to my Ojo-san voice. Okay. Your name is Maris, yes? I've remembered this correctly?
That's correct.
And I am Guinevere, although I suppose that is obvious. A great deal of time has passed since I last received visitors. Does the world still follow the turning light of Steel Note? Is that right?
Yeah. I
Steel Note?
don't... Oh, I see you updated the name. I don't think I've heard of an entity by that name before. Can you describe it for me?
Where to begin? Steel Note is the day and the night in the transition process between the two. He is steel and industry and the light of wisdom. He constructed the world in a perfect unity, with all components in their proper ratios. He is the almighty father and administrator of this reality. I'm gonna guess broken god.
No.
He is the divine apex. He is the machine made perfect. He is the metal star that births mankind.
And that links, of course, to Church of the Broken God Hub. That's a very passionate description. I believe this deity is something worshipped by some in our modern world too, though it's called the Broken God now.
Oh, the heresy persists, then.
Heresy?
A story for another day. I believe you are curious about the purpose of this facility?
Yes, according to you, your kingdom's religion was based around worship of the mechanical, of steel and industry. When we first initiated communication with you, you also indicate this facility was designed to gestate and produce human beings. I'm just having trouble seeing how those things match.
Humans are machines constructed from meat. The distinction is irrelevant.
Is that the same logic that led to your imprisonment here? Are you being imprisoned?
Not at all. I chose this for myself. It was the hope of any child of Camelot to be of use to the almighty king, chosen of Steel Note. 4 tried before me, but I alone survived integration.
How exactly were you of use?
A king is nothing without a dynasty, but our monarch was unable. He had given too much of his body to his divine patron. Think of my mind as a single cog in a great mechanism. It is my task to imagine the king's children, to direct the machinery to create what is needed for the task at hand. It is a task I have performed for many years now.
And you do this, what, forever? If you've been here since the time of Camelot, that's more than 1,000 years. When does the work stop?
The work does not stop. I have devoted my body and soul and my eternity to my king forevermore. That is my happiness. The king will return when the nation has need of him once again. I have faith that day will come. My work will be required once more. Please feel free to walk these halls. It is not what it once was, but I will still be glad of company. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Be glad of company? Maybe glad to have company?
No, it works. That's a sentence.
Glad of company. Okay. But for now, let me sleep and dream of the future. Popcorn.
Addendum 6265-2, Exploratory Notes. Throughout exploration of the SCP, several used incubators have been found in various areas of the facility. It is believed these incubators were previously utilized to gestate and birth the humans generated by the SCP. Monitors next to these incubators log information regarding the former occupants, and -1 has also proved willing to provide testimony regarding them. The following is a record of incubators located thus far. Incubator discovered on a wall near the entrance of the SCP. Unlike the majority of subsequent incubators, which are human-sized, this initial incubator is roughly the size of a human fist. Name: Guidre. Purpose: experiment. Aspect: son. Status: deceased. Visage: a small and wretched thing. He twitches meekly. Through his sacrifice, a dynasty is born.
I'm gonna guess this was like the best kid the king could make biologically, and he's used for the DNA.
Well, yeah, a little...
Or maybe he was like the first fuck up and they just kept using his DNA. I'm curious. Oh, Guido. Or Guidir? How do you
I said it
pronounce
Guidre,
it?
but that's completely based on nothing.
Oh, Guidre.
If this is upsetting, we don't have to discuss this here and now.
No, there's no issue. It had to be confirmed that the royal nursery would actually function. I was directed to create a test case, a simple and short-lived thing. Long-term stability was not a concern. He was born dying. I sang to him as he passed.
Incubator discovered in a hallway above -1's chamber. Incubator protruded from the ceiling of the hallway. Name: Hilde. Purpose: engineer. Aspect: daughter. Status: deceased. Visage: her body is long and lithe, so as to slip and weave between the organs of mighty war machines. Her head lacks hair that could snag, and her eyes peer unburdened by the dark. Her skull swells against the pressure of her brain. Her bones are flexible like water, and the fluids shed from her skin make her shine in the sunlight. She forgets nothing.
The army of Camelot was the wonder of the age. Arthur led the charge, his armour intersecting with him and sustaining his life, white plates glinting in the sun. His augmented steed galloped with such speed that it could run along the water. Oh, my king! Oh, my king!
Guinevere?
Doesn't Guinevere usually betray Arthur in, like, Arthurian legend?
Usually, yeah.
Interesting. Forgive me, such gallantry. Behind Arthur flew the 100 banners of Steelnote, crested by the mighty war machines, walking castles sufficient to crush villages beneath their feet. Nothing could stop the march of Camelot. Nothing could stop the march of progress. But then how did they disappear? But occasionally the march would slow.
Why?
Technical malfunction. A perfect machine would never break down, but even our mighty engines were hollow imitations of Steelnote's glory. But that in itself opened up a new spectacle. Like worker ants, the engineer would pour forth and begin their repairs. They would writhe their ways between gears and cogs, their slippery bodies granting them great speed as they worked their way through to the damaged parts. It took only minutes at a time for the error to be corrected. No hands would be faster than those of Hilde, however. No problem was beyond her brilliance, no obstacle beyond her reach. Oh, my daughter, they never came back to visit. So wait, this is Guinevere Arthur's wife?
Yeah. Well, like,
Okay.
not wife necessarily, but, like, the individual who makes the kids.
Okay, did Arthur have, like, a queen then in the technical sense, or was he just his own thing?
He's his own thing in this sort of
Okay.
setting.
So does this imply Hilda was released and did work, but she's,
Yeah.
like, sealed away right now?
Well, she died over time.
Oh, right. Status deceased, sorry.
Incubator discovered in a hallway below Dashwan's chamber. Incubator protruded from the wall and was approximately 15 feet tall. The glass of the incubator appeared to have been smashed. Upon examination, it was determined this was done from the inside. Name, Amber. Purpose, Destroyer. Aspect, Sun. Status, Deceased. Visage. His hair is flowing back, black, and coats his body like a shawl. His skull pushes up before his face in the manner of a mask or helmet. He was born diminutive as an infant, but decides his own size with arbitrary passion. At times he is 6 feet tall, sometimes 9, sometimes 12, sometimes 15. When he roars, the land shakes. To Camelot, he is a titan worthy of admiration. To Camelot's enemies, he is the ogre of a nightmare house.
So he was trying to break out from the inside?
Well, when he was born, he just sort of broke his way out.
Oh, I get you. Many times after Arthur accepted... So, like, this is, like, where they were born, but also their graves?
Well, no, there's nothing here anymore. This is just where they came out.
Oh, so they're, like, looking at empty things,
Yeah.
and she's describing them.
And reading the records and stuff, yeah.
I gotcha. Many times after Arthur accepted Steelnote as the father and administrator of this world, he would face rebellions from the blind. At first, these were worshippers of the obsolete divinity. Whoa, someone forgot to capitalize the T there. Tanhoney.
Well,
Tanhoney.
Guinevere forgot to do it. She's typing.
Okay. These were worshippers of the obsolete divinities, easily crushed with steel and flame. But as the truth soaked into the land, the nature of these adversaries changed.
How so?
Even our notion of Steelnote was but a simple interpretation of the absolute mechanism. It is no surprise that, with time, alternate interpretations would arise. The rebels that plagued Camelot for many years followed a rusted, shattered god, a wretched, malfunctioning thing that was the source of all human misery. They believed it was their duty to repair this dying deity, so as to perfect this flawed universe.
I don't see how that requires war.
At first, neither did I, but the king is never mistaken. Camelot was founded on Steelnote's supremacy. So I'm noticing a pattern with you in supremacies, Tanoni. I'm very interested in that. To cast aspersions on that is to deny Camelot itself. Traitors cannot be suffered to live. I'm sure you understand this as well. Hello?
I believe we were discussing the incubator our crews found yesterday. Amara, the name was?
The rebels were sometimes formidable. Excellent soldiers were needed for battle. Augmentation of the body sufficed for a time, but the time came when a better class of warrior was necessary. Emma was born to destroy Camelot's enemies. He smashed fortresses, burnt villages, devoured mighty knights. Once that was accomplished, there was no further need for him to exist.
He died?
Arthur slew him, and the land was broken from their clash. I asked that his bones be returned, but my king could not spare the men. There was a great deal to be done, after all. I understood. So see, she's a sad mom. She loves her kids, and Arthur clearly does not.
Incubator discovered in a massive room located directly above -1's chamber. Incubator was elevated slightly by a pedestal beneath it, but was itself estimated to be only 4 feet tall. Name, Arkfed. Purpose, beloved. Aspect, child. Status, deceased. Visage. Their hair is white and billows down to the ground like snow. Their features are fair and heavenly, so as to inspire devotion. Their voice is song, so as to inspire the people's love. Their 4 eyes shine black with cosmic wisdom. At times they choose to float above the ground. When they spread their 4 arms wide and preach, the whole world must listen. It is required of them.
Arkfed was a fine child. The final product achieved the brief perfectly. What does that mean, the brief perfectly?
Well, like the brief, this, they sent, this is what we want, make this.
Ah, I see. I could not hope for more pride as a mother.
If you don't mind me asking then, what was this brief? The purpose is listed as beloved. What use is that in a mechanical kingdom?
It is vital.
In what way?
As machines need fuels, humans need morale. There is nothing more inspiring than a being of beauty and wisdom to pledge your sword to. Armies would charge to their deaths for Arkfed's smile. They did.
Propaganda, then? That was the intention?
If that is what it means to be beloved, then certainly. There was not a soul in Camelot that could deny Arkfed's requests, bar Ancelos.
Ancelos?
The chief engineer of this place, before the fall of the kingdom, before your people assumed those duties. He held certain affections for me. As it did not impact his work, I saw no need to dissuade him. My decision was incorrect.
I take it that it did impact his work, eventually.
Yes. At some point, he acquired the notion that my duty was something I required rescuing from. Nonsense. He took steps to sabotage this facility, to betray the king. He poisoned the mind of my final born in that effort. He thought revolution the ideal way to give me my supposed freedom.
Your final born? We're still talking about Arkfed here?
No, of course not. Arkfed was always the king's favourite. When they fell... I'm sorry, I will not speak of this further.
Incubator discovered in a small room located far below -1's chamber, in a separate section accessible via ladder. The room itself was behind numerous sealed doors that had to be breached via drill. Name, Mordred. Purpose, Aspect, bastard. Status, living.
What?
Visage. His hair is short and dark across his head like that of...
Oh, bastard like from Not a Queen. Okay, I see.
His hair is short and dark across his head like that of a bear. In his right hand he holds the killing light, and from his left he births the dreadsword Clarence. He is 4-eyed and 7-fingered. When he roars, he shakes the earth, but he does not roar often, as he is of the serpent's kind. The king's blood is still upon his blade. He will know that you have found this.
He will know that you have found this.
That's what I said.
So 7-fingered, does that imply 7 fingers to a hand, or 7 total?
7 fingers each hand.
Nice. Is he an SCP of his own?
No. But he is living, okay. It says.
Nice. Mordred the Red-Stepped. They say he is the lowest scum in all the world. They say he brings the end of days. They say that he will never die.
They say this? What about you? What do you think?
What do I think? What would you think of the person who ran your beloved through, who destroyed your kingdom, who tore down your world? Hello?
I would say it depends on the reason.
Yes. I think it would depend on the reason as well.
Addendum 3. On 19/01/2022, new advances were made in the full mapping of the SCP. By clearing heavy amounts of vegetation that had grown through one of the complex's walls, personnel will be able to gain access to a previously unknown secondary entrance to the SCP. During exploration of this secondary entrance, heavily decayed human remains were recovered. This corpse was clad in a highly advanced, if decayed, form of mechanical armour, and dating indicates the individual likely perished thousands of years prior. When located, the corpse was still holding a steel tablet engraved with hundreds of rows of small characters. These characters corresponded to no known language, but when they were presented to the SCP-1, it responded with the following.
Production order received! Oh, my king! Oh, my king! Oh, blessed Bedivere, your mission complete! Oh, my king! Oh, my king! Camelot rises!
The following day, a new incubation chamber emerged from the wall directly outside of Dash-1's chamber. Details are presented below. Name, Arthur. Purpose, king. Aspect, father. Status, growing. Visage, magnificent. Observation is ongoing.
So she had an order to, like, rebirth him,
Yeah.
basically. Lamau. I liked it. It was funny. It was kind of cool. I liked the interesting implications of Camelot and that there was something beyond the broken god. That opens it up to make me want to know more. But you didn't capitalize that one letter at the beginning of a sentence, so I'll have to give this a 9 out of 10. I hope you understand.
Damn it. We could have had it all.
We could have had it all rolling in the deep. No, I really liked it, though. That was fun. I want to know more about this Camelot canon you've created.
Perhaps we will
Or
see.
are you just adding to it?
Well, I will probably do more stuff in this universe.
Or, I mean, like, is it something you made, or is this
No, this is
other
something I
different
made.
canon?
It was sort of based on like loose sort of like implications in other articles that Arthur. Well, like there's another version of it. Arthur has like a completely different relationship with the Church of the Broken God. But I just thought those two concepts were cool together.
When are you going to tell me about Gregorian? What's that about?
Well, there's nothing yet. Well, we have the comment
hell.
reading.
Yeah, we do, I suppose, huh? Let me get that open. Let me refresh. Imaginon theory. How do you feel about Imaginons?
I love them. I made so many of them.
Alright, shall we begin the reading? Because some of these comments are really long if I remember.
Sure.
Alright. Chrysanthus says, I concur with the technobabble being too much in this one, even when I love some good intentionally consistent technobabble. With that said, I already read this article, so I will only say that I like it, but less than other Admonition ones. I hope you keep reading Admonition, but not all in a row, just coming back sometimes. Finally, I won't say the password. You are not my father, and you can't tell me
Go
what
to your
to do.
room. I won't tolerate this kind of fucking behaviour anymore.
It's not like I remember it anyways.
I'm sorry, that'd be very mean of you know that to say.
Terrible father Tanhoney. Final
Go to your
boss.
fucking room.
Yeah. Fucking useless. I can't believe
Go
I
back
had
to your cupboard into the stairs.
Edit. Wait, is Cosmic Top Secret really the higher for NATO? I kind of think something that is in the top of the top secret for real organizations is some term we don't actually
It's
know.
right. You're right. It's Vempo.
Yeah. Vampo? It's just called Vampo?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Well, that means top secret.
Vampo. JTKC says, Wahoo! I was on a boat the day the episode went out, so I couldn't get first comment, legally, of course. I'm pretty surprised when people say they didn't like the Chaos Theory as much. Was that what we read, Chaos
Yeah.
Theory? As much, but taking another look at it, I get why people get turned off by the technobabble, but I live for that shit. At the time of reading, I also found pataphysics as a concept so fascinating, and having a whole document just going into the nerdy details was just so appealing to me personally. Can't wait for Metagnostic next week, smile. Password 1. It was probably the caption with the Leorio face or a gift from Alan Wake. I don't even remember what the
Yeah, I don't
requirements were.
I remember the second.
I don't know what
was.
password 1 was.
Password 2 is how they come with their own OCs for the months.
Alright, let's see. Password 2. I just want to say this is my new favorite part of the Tanhoney Towers lore. My headcanon is the months are their actual names, and that was just part of Tan's job requirements. January. The funny comic relief character that is in charge of hiring the other 11 months if they need replacements. You have to defeat her to earn your place in the ranks. Hence why she's technically the weakest. Alright. February. He's the trickster Joker character that designs all the overly complicated traps
He's
in
the Catholic
Tanhoney
Joker?
Torture Chamber. Yeah, maybe. He's the trickster Joker, actually.
You can be a trickster and
fight,
Catholic.
which is why he cheesed the Jan fight, which is why he's the second weakest. March, the Tanhoney Towers AI who fights in a Gundam sometimes. April, waitress, scales higher than an AI Gundam, apparently. May, just May from Guilty Gear. June and July are a brother and sister duo, and the only months that are considered equal in power. Insert duo boss fight here. August, my good pal. September, August but stronger. And the rest are taken. I rate this episode 100 out of 10.
September is what you get instead of
bonus stars.
August in New Game Plus.
I conjured 90 bonus stars from all my Imaginons. Have a good week, guys. Alright, so those are what we have for each of these so far. So I'm keeping that in mind as we go forward. Nox Stella says, this one kind of makes me think of Tulpas. I struggled with this one a little. My ADHD did not like the technical jargon, but you guys always make it fun.
Thank you.
I was in the exact same boat, Nox. Also, Tulpas is a throwback. MT says, I also have terrible remembering names. If the names are more than 2 decibels, I'm going to need a few months to remember names. By the way, I'm currently in college for graphics and multimedia, which includes a solo 3D short film video. So if it isn't much trouble, would you two be willing to voice some lines only if you can?
Well,
I
would be
would
happy
be
to.
honored. I would be honored to help you, but just know that we don't exactly have the best quality mics, so I would keep that in mind if you're sure you want us to voice. But if you want us to and you're on the server, sure thing. Depending on what a few lines means. Like, if it's like 30 billion lines, then it's no. But if it's like 5, sure. Couldn't be bothered with a name. Says, Cosmic Top Secret isn't something that writers made to sound cool or something. That right there is an official NATO classification. This isn't something made up. It's just actually real. I like how they said it. Like a fucking, like the Speedwagon of the comments section.
Pointing, oh my god! Even couldn't be bothered with a name is afraid.
Oh my god. Dino Tail says, yeah, this is my least favorite of the Atom Bunch. I feel like if it were to just be about the Foundation using fictional worlds to bring dead people back, instead of introducing this whole author and fictional science stuff, I would have enjoyed it more. Password 1. I believe Tanhoney sent a video of the one guy smashing his keyboard. Password 2.
I'm trying to remember what password 1 was, because these responses do
Yeah,
not...
they don't make any sense. I'm lost. Password 2. I only have one character, November, a stellar sea cow named Nove who enjoys pizza and Family Guy. As for that, that's not strong enough to defeat August, so it's not canon, I'm sorry. As for that recommendation, I would have to go with 5984. It's a personal favorite of mine. Thank you guys for all the awesome content, as well as giving me a chance to recommend again. You deserve a reward.
I did promise, didn't I, that I would read their recommendations, so I guess I have to next episode.
Do we?
I promised! Do you want my word to be as dirt?
Yes. Your word is dirt. You still haven't done the Aetheral Space lore video.
I still intend to do it at some point.
Yeah, well, you know what they say about intentions. They're worth squat in this world.
Someday.
compared to results. Yeah, that's true. You deserve a reward. Anomalous, use the blank X MCD-2 to make Tanhoney and Darnell waifus.
You misread that. Wafuis, actually.
Wafuis. God damn it, I was really hoping we'd get waifus.
My Wafui is here.
Wafui is like the name of like a weird like Chinese knockoff stuffed animal.
He's here.
Finally, my Wafui! It's like a monkey with the face of a man.
Even
Shithalia
sons
says,
die one day, Tanhoney. I love him.
Sorry, that got me.
Even the
Shithalia
sons
says,
feast for mortal eyes.
Shithalia says, Imaginon kind of sounds like how my province's language would turn the word imagine into a verb. If there's an A-class personnel, who are the S-class? Probably the O5 administrator, I don't know. I'm the S-class, because I am top S++. Sobek says, great episode. I can't remember if you have covered SCP-2747 Anaphylaba on the podcast, but it's pretty relevant to this article and would be worth reading in a future pataphysics episode. I also think Darnell would enjoy the themes of 4028 La Historia de Don Quixote de la Mancha. Or Mancha, maybe.
That's
and
a
it's
good
a
one.
hippo article. As a more positive and self-deterministic take on pataphysics and narrative stuff. Hell yeah! Hell yeah! That's what I need. Password 1, Tan has sent Darnell the Leorio.
What is this
thing.
fucking password?
What was password 1? Alright, the password for this video is to tell us what password 1 of last video was. Because I don't understand anymore what happened. Password 2. February is the janitor of Tanhoney Towers and keeps everything in its proper place. They have one of 3 master keys that can open any door in the towers. Physically, they are the second weakest Gregorian general, but for one day every 4 years they unleash their loop energy form and become February Leap Beast.
I love it. That was canon.
I like that. That's canon. I like February. Banker Paul says, password. January is little stick bug that stabs at you with its legs. February distracts you with promises of love to make you an easier target for the other executioners. March is Hamiltoe. That's canon, by the way, now. April's the waitress.
The waitress has not
May
made
is
an appearance in quite a while.
Who? The waitress?
Yeah, not made a appearance.
We talked about her last video.
Punches you in the face and you fall to the cafe floor. The waitress gasps, holding the plate to her chest.
Spilling the food everywhere on her apron. May, reality bender that can only use their abilities on kitchen utensils. June is a skilled martial artist and master of the ancient art of extra
April, the waitress' entire existence is being shocked when I attack you.
Yeah, she's like only the fourth weakest. Hamiltoe is weaker than the waitress.
Wait, is this an order of power?
Yeah, we described that. We said the further along in the months it goes, is the more is the stronger they are. That's why all the Januaries are pathetic. June, a skilled martial artist and master. Oh, sorry. July, flaming lips, havoc moon, but as a human and weaker. August is August. September is the tougher.
This
August.
is like unambiguous canon. Did we say that, or is this just like consensus?
I think I said that at the end of the episode that I wanted it that way. October is an amalgamation of Hamiltoe's nightmares brought into the physical realm.
Hamiltoe's nightmares are stronger than Hamiltoe.
November, an enlarged turkey carcass fueled by the torment of Thanksgiving's past. December. It's quiet out here. The desert sprawls from horizon to horizon, where purest white meets twilight red. There are no edges here, no angles, just curves and the gentle rise and fall of dunes, as far as the eye can see and everywhere beyond that. Had a visitor from some other world laid eyes on this place, they might have found it serene, even beautiful. Pure. I can enjoy no such delusions, regretfully, for I know what lies beneath and among the sands of the endless desert. A charnel house spanning an entire planet, 7 billion human souls ground thin and fine, until no trace of their existence could ever be found. I know this, because I put them all there.
December's fucking scary.
Terrifying. Does this imply December is the one who created the Tanoni Towers?
The original
and brought everyone here? Oh my god. Yeah, that's who it was, and you overthrew him. End password. Fun fact of the week. The first track of the Hollow Knight OST, Enter Hollow Nest, was not actually used in-game. I remember... Oh, Jesus Christ, it keeps going. What the fuck?
This is just a little segment at this point.
This is like... Remember Hunter Spataphora? It's like his reincarnation. Yeah. I miss Hunter Spataphora. I remember some time ago Darnell had a section for the podcast about DSCP server news, but he quit doing that, and I like the idea, so I've decided to resume it. I did forget to do news.
I love that. I've decided to resume it. Read this out now.
I don't want to read
it.
I don't want to.
Do it! Now fucking do it. Pushes you out of the way. The waitress gasps as you slip in the mustard.
I say, don't worry about me, waitress, I'll be fine, and then I hand her a tip.
This week on DSCP News, there's been talk of Tanani releasing Ethereal Space. I'm going to have a look through it. I think we've got past the point that there would be spoilers for. Orchid posted some images of Captain. Darnell shared a video titled Eminem becomes a second century warlord. Slow news week, huh? Like a full left.
Fuck you.
Oh. But you came back. Wendigo did some art and photography, and Orchid shared some bracelets you made. Hypotheses were formed on killing Hamiltoe and reviving him. Only do one of those. That's all for today. Tune in next week for the next installment of DSCP News. We might have actual content next time.
Are you happy?
Yeah.
Were you satisfied you read that?
Yeah.
Did that add to your life?
Yeah, I did.
Alright, heartbeat shot.
My heart goes flying out. The waitress catches it and cries.
The waitress flutters her eyelashes and throws the heart back into your chest.
Thank you, April.
Comedy Man Kelp says, cool podcast. The story is good. I like the background music better.
Do you get this?
What's the background music?
Do you get this? In the AI-generated Discovered SCP episode, that is what he supposedly said.
I forgot about that. Anomalous Writer says, Admonition Part 2, wowza.
Yeah.
Orchid Stream says, trying to understand all this techno-babble feels like homework, ... Not my type of article at all.
I think you injected more anger into that than it was.
That's just me. What can I say? Guare SCP says, I never liked Chaos Theort as much as other Admonition articles. It was just too technical, and dropping multiple paragraphs of exposition in the middle of the story made it feel eternal. So I wonder what you all think of it. Personally, my favorite are the third and fourth ones, which I imagine you'll read next, and I hope to see the fifth come soon to the wiki. Sorry, you won't. The fog is coming.
You're going to the tunnel. This is new law, by the way, that introduced off the podcast. There's a Tanani tunnel as well.
What's in the tunnel?
It's below Tanani Towers. It's where December is sealed.
this contradicts the dwarf fortress I created, which was the base I was hiding underneath the tower.
That is one of the extensions of Tammany Tower. It goes sideways into other dimensions.
Oh, I see.
There are echoes of it across the multiverse.
There are echoes across the loops.
But yeah, the Tammany Tunnel is below Tiny Towers. It's where we sealed away December.
I also had new lore regarding the loops. I like the idea that like the more we loop to like stop the world ending, the more we have to keep looping because the universe is trying to maintain its inertia. So like we loop to prevent it, but also we can never really stop looping because we've
the loops
started
are getting
looping.
shorter. It's very despair-inducing.
Yeah, so like soon if we don't think of something, we're just going to get an infinitely short loop where like nothing can exist or matter.
We may have to use that project.
No. But that's where we cut off the video.
Anything else you need to say to these people? These lovely viewers? Oh, he already ended the episode, guy. He ran away from his duties. I'll say goodbye as well. See you later.